Hello YouTube and welcome to my next video. Today we are taking a look into my Ancient Warriors deck profile. First of all, quick explanation about the Ancient Warriors gimmicks. Every Ancient Warrior monster... wait, they all do different things. The only thing some of those monsters have in common is the cost to send one card from your hand or field to the graveyard to activate an effect. And that's all. By the way, please don't judge me when I mispronounce any of these warriors' names. Thank you. So going straight into the deck profile, starting off with 2 copies of Ancient Warriors Ambitious Shao De. So just you guys know, I'm going to avoid saying Ancient Warriors on every monster and just use their names. Shao De has the effect to special summon himself when a card is destroyed by Bell or card effect. You then can send one card from your hand or field to the graveyard in order to special summon him. It's pretty easy to special summon him because Ancient Warriors actually have quite the variations to destroy your opponent's cards by a card effect. At first, we have Lu Feng, which has the quick effect to destroy the monster with the highest attack points your opponent controls. Following with Guan Yun, I think it's Guan Yun, which is able to once per turn target one card your opponent controls and destroy it. And there is also this completely overtuned spell card, East by South Winds, which has the effect to toss a coin. If the result ends up being heads, it nukes itself. If this card gets sent from the spell and trap zone to the graveyard, you can give all your Ancient Warriors monsters the effect to destroy one card on the field when they declare an attack. As you can see, it's pretty easy to special summon Shao De, even if you don't have the opportunity to destroy monsters by battle. Once he hits the field, he is also protected from being targeted by card effects and by their destruction as well. You have to control another Ancient Warrior monster for the effect to apply. But that's not all. He also has another effect where you can special summon an opponent's monster which you just destroyed by Bell onto your side in defense position. So he's a monster which easily special summon itself, is a 3000 attack point beatstick, and you also can special summon a monster from your opponent to your side of the field. So what do you want more? Next we play 3 copies of Lu Feng. He can be special summoned by controlling the Ancient Warrior monster with the highest attack points on the field. So he's always a free special summon if you control another Ancient Warrior monster. Except when there is an Ancient Warriors mirror match, which isn't likely to happen, right?
You serious?
No! God! No! God, please, no! No!
His other effect is his quick effect Destruction, which I already mentioned. Since his summoning condition is so easy to fulfill, he also has a pretty balanced downside. During the end phase, if your opponent controls a monster with higher attack points than you do, you have to give Lu Feng to your opponent. Then we have 3 copies of Shang De, which you can choose for yourself how often you want to play him. It just worked perfectly with 3 copies for me, so that's why I play him on 3. He can special summon himself when you control 2 or more Ancient Warriors monsters on the field. When he's on the field, he gets 300 attack points for every monster your opponent controls, so this guy can grow pretty huge. His next effect allows him to attack twice when you have less monsters than your opponent. But this effect is an activated effect. So if, for example, your opponent controls 4 monsters and you special summon him, activate his effect and then go on summoning and exceed the monsters your opponent controls, he still gets to attack twice. It also triggers the low level Ancient Warriors effects, which is pretty nice. Then we have 3 copies of Guan Yun, which can special summon himself when only your opponent controls a monster. So he's basically a Cyber Dragon for the Ancient Warriors Archetype, adding the fact he also has Destruction effect on top of that. 3 copies could be too much in some cases, so he's an option to cut down to 1 or 2 as well. Next we have Shang Yuan, which can special summon himself when an Ancient Warriors monster battles an opponent's face-up monster. You can then reduce the attack points of the opponent's monster by 1000 and special summon this dude. When he is on the field, he has the effect when a card from your opponent gets destroyed, you get to destroy another card. Another effect when he's on the field, all other Ancient Warrior monsters cannot be destroyed by Bell. So you can, for example, run with your low level Ancient Warriors into a big beatstick from your opponent, lower its attack by 1000 and special summon this dude. Then your monsters cannot be destroyed by Bell and you get to attack with Shang Yuan afterwards. Then we're heading over to probably the most insane Ancient Warriors monster, next to the Link maybe, Sunmu. He has the effect to send one card from your hand or field to the graveyard in order to add one monster from your deck to the hand. So you can basically search any monster you'll need and those monsters are easily to special summon. Especially one dude, Shuger Kong. When Shuger Kong gets added by the effect of an Ancient Warriors card effect, you can special summon him from your hand, which will then trigger Sunmu's next effect, which says, when another Ancient Warriors monster effect is activated, you can target one monster from your opponent and bounce back to the hand. A pretty strong effect on top of the search effect. While he is on the field, this card cannot be tied to 4 attacks if you control another Ancient Warriors monster, so he's also protected. This level 4 monster is quite insane and you always want to have him on 3 copies. Then we have Liu Schwein. This guy has the effect. When your opponent controls more monsters than you do, you can special summon one Ancient Warrior monster from your deck by sending 1 card from your field or hand to the graveyard. There is no restriction of which monsters you can special summon, so you can choose from any of all those strong monsters except Liu Feng, since he needs to be special summoned by his own effect. When an attack is declared involving another Ancient Warriors monster, you get to draw 1 card. Kinda neat. Special summon from deck and 3 draws sounds fair. Oh yeah, he also cannot be tied to 4 attacks when another Ancient Warrior monster is on the field, like Sun Mu, which makes him even better. Then we have the earlier mentioned Shuger Kong, which special summons himself when added by an Ancient Warriors card effect, which is easily achieved with Sun Mu, or with the continuous spell card Free Visits, which says that when an Ancient Warriors monster gets summoned, you get to search out another Ancient Warrior monster with a different name from your deck. Or with the Link monster, Double Dragon Lords, which adds 1 Ancient Warrior monster on his Link summon. While Shuger Kong is on the field, he has the effect to negate a spell or trap card by sending 1 Ancient Warriors continuous spell or trap from your side of the field to the graveyard. So if you only control Sun Mu and Shuger Kong, for example, while having a spell card lying around, you have a spell trap negate on board and an immediate bounce afterwards. But most likely your board will consist out of even more Ancient Warriors anyways. Then we have 2 copies of Shao Gong and 1 copy of Lu Xing. The first one gets rid of a continuous spell or trap in order to search out another one from the deck, while the second one does the same, but he adds it back from the graveyard instead. So these 2 aren't that important, but they can be helpful if you run out of resources or need a specific Ancient Warrior spell. As spells we play 3 copies of Fire Formation Tenki and 3 of Fire Formation Tenzu. By the way, while I was recording this video, the ban list just came out and sadly Tenki was hit and is on 1 now, so it's limited. So you kinda need to figure out what to put in the deck instead those 2 Tenkies. Tenki searches out an level 4 Beast Warrior monster, so an always must have for 3 copies. And Tenzu simply because you can get another normal summon, and if you use the additional normal summon, just get rid of it with the cost of an Ancient Warriors monster effect. Then we play 3 copies of Free Visits. It would have been a shame if we don't play Free Visits 3 times. Like mentioned earlier, this card is also a searcher, but it has an additional effect. All Ancient Warrior spell cards have the downside that they will be sent to the graveyard in a second standby phase after activation. And when I say all Ancient Warrior spell cards, only the overpowered ones. I don't really know if it's actually a downside, since those cards also have an effect when they get sent to the graveyard from the spell or trap zone. So, if this card gets sent, you get to special summon 1 Ancient Warrior monster from your hand, on top of the really strong search effect. Next we have 3 copies of East by South Winds, which effect I already explained in total. Or did I? Nah. It also has the effect when you give your monsters the destruction effect, your opponent cannot respond to your activated cards and effects until the end of this turn. Amazing card, easy free of. Then 2 copies of Borrowing of Arrows, which is basically a Dark Rebellion Exceed Dragon just for Ancient Warriors. You can target 1 monster your opponent controls and 1 of your Ancient Warriors, half the attack of the opponent's monster, and your monster gets the lost attack points. This only lasts until the end of the turn, so it's not that good as Dark Rebellion, but easily reusable. Since this card doesn't have the same power level as the other 2 Ancient Warrior spells, so it doesn't have the downside of sending this card to the graveyard on the second standby phase. But anyways, if this card still gets sent to the graveyard somehow, while you control 2 or more different attributes Ancient Warrior monsters, you can set 1 Ancient Warrior spell or trap from your deck or hand. As the last Ancient Warrior spell, we play 1 copy of Sun Liu Alliance, which has the effect. You can declare 1 attribute, your opponent cannot activate the effects of monsters they currently control with the said attribute. So if your opponent's only playing 1 attribute, this simply is a Dark Ruler no more. Adding another effect where you can give your Ancient Warrior monsters 300 attack for every Ancient Warrior monster you control is a neat bonus on top. This effect is activated when you activate an Ancient Warriors effect or your opponent special summons a monster. So this effect can be used in both turns quite easily. And like usually, we play 1 copy of Monster Reborn. At last we play 1 defense of Changban. Jiangban, Jiangban, I don't know. It's a continuous trap which denies your opponent from activating any spell or traps when an Ancient Warrior monster battles. Also, you can send this card to the graveyard in order to prevent your opponent from attacking Ancient Warriors monsters this turn. This also means he cannot attack directly if you only control Ancient Warrior monsters. The last effect is pretty decent as well, where you can banish this card in order to special summon one Ancient Warrior monster from your deck. But you can only use one of these effects once per turn, so you cannot send this card to the graveyard in order to deny your opponent from attacking and then immediately after special summon one from your deck. Heading over to the extra deck where you most likely don't end up often, except maybe one exception, the double Dragon Lords, which is already pretty insane in Tri-Brigade, but even more retarded in Ancient Warriors. When summoned, he adds one Ancient Warrior monster from your deck. Pretty strong on summon effect already. When he's on the field, he boosts all Ancient Warrior monsters with 500 attack points, which is pretty huge considering the warriors itself already have high attack points as well. And the main reason why this card also sees competitive play is quick effect, where you can send one card from your field or hand to the graveyard in order to bounce one card your opponent controls. Bouncing cards back to the hand is one of the strongest removals, and having it on a quick effect is even better. When I said there's only one exception which will be useful in your extra deck, I probably lied. There's also the MVP Gaga Cowboy! 800 burn damage, win game, GG easy. Then we play 2 copies of Tiger King. To unsummon, search out either Tenzu or Tanky. Now that Tanky is at 1, this card actually useful. Having an additional full board negate by detaching 1 Xyz material is a good bonus on top of that. Then 1 copy of Tornado Dragon for spell trap removal, 1 copy of Arc for monster removal, 1 copy of Dark Rebellion, if you really can't beat over with your Ancient Warrior monsters, which I highly doubt. Then 2 Redoers, just for the memes, and 1 Abyss Dweller to prevent your opponent's graveyard effects. As other links, I play 1 copy of Ferrigid and 1 copy of Shurig. They perfectly fit in Beast Warrior decks, so I choose to pick them. The one providing a free special summon, the other one a free banish. Those 2 are pretty good cards worth using when needed. So that was the deck profile of my Ancient Warriors deck. I really hope you enjoyed it and be hyped about some other deck profiles in the future. Since I'm using my IRL decks for this format, there's currently a limit of how much and which ones I can actually do. So let me know in the comments below what you want to see next. Next you're going to see some gameplay of the deck, and at last the full deck list again showing in Edo Pro. See you in the next video.
Always do it on my own, so I gotta get through it. And the only thing I know is to love what I'm doing. Never give up, never slow, till I finally prove it. Never listen to the no's, I just wanna keep moving. Keep my head up when I act, head up, that's a fact. Never looking back, I'ma keep myself on track. Keep my head up, staying strong, always moving on. Feel I don't belong, tell my thoughts to move along. Push myself to be the best, die with no regrets. Live with every breath, see my message start to spread. And I had so many dreams, then you hit your teens. Life ain't really what it seems, try to find out what it means. Always do it on my own, so I gotta get through it. And the only thing I know is to love what I'm doing. Never give up, never slow, till I finally prove it. Never listen to the no's, I just wanna keep moving. Yeah, I put out all this art, it's my only medicine. Yeah, everything I do, I'm just being genuine. Yeah, I'm sick of being screwed, feel my own adrenaline. Yeah, I do just what I do, and I hope you let me in, yeah. I'm grateful, oh yeah, able, oh yeah, I'm stable, oh yeah, no label, oh yeah, you know me, I have only a path, I'm lonely, but damn, I'm going to win. I don't want no fake love, I want the real stuff. Everybody listen up, cause I'll only say it once. I'm gonna show you all the path, if you want it bad. I'm gonna show you where it's at, yeah, how you can get it back. Yeah, cause I ain't never done, I'll be #1. Working hella hard until I get just what I want, yeah. Rises like the sun, yeah, fatal like a gun. Shooters gonna shoot and I'm gonna shoot until I won, yeah. Always do it on my own, so I gotta get through it. And the only thing I know is to love what I'm doing. Never give up, never slow, till I finally prove it. Never listen to the no's, I just wanna keep moving. Yeah, I put out all this art, it's my only medicine. Yeah, everything I do, I'm just being genuine. Yeah, I'm sick of being screwed. my own adrenaline. Yeah, I do just what I do, and I hope you let me in, yeah.